Well, peeps, welcome to which this episode is going to be about paranormal and somewhat how the mind works when you have a mild form of schizophrenia. Now, there is a actual true story about today's program, and I have been hesitant on working on the paranormal because I'm a firm believer it is out there. I'm a firm believer that there's so much unexplained. But having the mind that I have, I see things that aren't there on a daily basis, or I had been for a while. Now that I'm on the proper medication and seeing not only therapists and psychiatrists and getting the proper mixture, I talked to my therapist and psychiatrist, telling them that I do smoke marijuana because it helps with the effects of not only the bipolar but the mild skits. Now, with that in mind, they put me on a pill medication instead of a shot to where it would be regular in my system instead of in a peak and then have it gradually coming down. So, with the proper medication now, I'm able to focus more on what I see that I do not believe is brought up from my mind. Now, with that in mind, paranormal is something that can be explained in 5 different directions, but it's firmly on the person themselves and what they feel. Now, when it comes to paranormal, feeling is a key because your senses are the first things that trigger you to noticing something is going on, something's not right. The more feeling that you're able to receive, the more you're going to focus and try and understand what's going on, because your mind is not going to allow you to find out something in your area, in your bubble, your aura, something is not right. And your mind needs to figure out what it is, and it needs a good explanation so you can move on. If you don't have one, you're not going to move on. Your mind is going to fixate on it. That's just the way it works. So when you talk about the paranormal world, and I, on Facebook, I have a ton of friends in the paranormal world, and I see daily things occurring that, at points give me the shivers. There are things that can be explained, and there are things that just you don't want to, and people that have the empathic ability to feel more than others are almost like a magnet, more of a guide for these energies that are occurring. And I call them energy because either bad or good, I believe when you're in that world, there is no moral. There's just who you were or how you became who you are. And it's a lot of people will try and sit there and tell you their way of thinking about it, but there's so much out there for you to gather your own information and figure out how you feel about it. I mean, do you walk into a room and feel the presence or the not to rhyme, the essence of something? Okay, now sometimes people with empathy or the empathic form can feel the room, the individuals, the people, the moods. It's really easy to achieve if you focus and learn. But with that in mind, there's also energy in some of these rooms that you can't focus on or you don't understand. You don't have a history of the knowledge of where you're at. A house can have an energy. Okay, Amityville, they make a big deal about that. Okay, I love the stories behind Amityville. Period. Okay, and that energy was centered around a house, and there's always these backstories here and there, and the deaths that occurred. But there's an energy, and people are able to feel it out. And whether you believe it or not, that is entirely up to you. Like I said, when I was dealing with my mental issues, I was very skeptical because I didn't want to do that kind of research. I didn't want that knowledge. But in the same sense, I was forming, I wouldn't say being an empath. I was able to read people, understand emotions, and I was able to tell them what they wanted to hear to make them happy, whether it was a lie or not. And that got me into a lot of trouble. So, when you're feeling a room, your emotions that you have built up inside, your history, your experience, your wisdom as you go through life, the more hell that you go through as you get older and survive more and more, you're going to be able to feel more because of that. And your mind, whether you're able to train it or not, can focus on that emotion and in a quick second tell you what's going on. If it doesn't take that quickness and you're not focused and learned in feeling, then you're going to have a lot more questions and you're not going to be able to tunnel vision towards an ending. You're basically going to go sprouting off left and right. You're going to be going in every direction. And so, all in all, it will take a lot to learn. But once you're able to focus, you're going to feel more energy, and it's going to be hard because once you bring people into your bubble, your aura, your livelihood, you're going to have to try to understand more of these emotions and get a better feeling about who the individual is or this new energy you're feeling. Okay. So, empath abilities with the paranormal is a side-by-side thing. Now, to the story at hand. Yesterday was the anniversary of my grandmother's death. Now, my grandmother was basically, she was the queen of the Armstrong clan here in America. And she was a very powerful woman. And my sister last night, on Tuesday, she gets together with some friends of hers. Now, I'm going to identify my sister's friends as my brother from another mother and my Turkish delight. I've been talking to them for about a year now. Every Tuesday night, they get together, have a few drinks, listen to music, and just, let it all loose. Enjoy themselves. And I get phone calls from them as they are enjoying themselves. We'll go back and forth on music. And my brother from another mother is at my level, if not higher, when it comes to music. Okay, so we share the same respect for most of the genres. Okay, And that's hard to find somebody who, clicks. And everybody who knows me knows that music is one of the key things in my life. It's my go to. So, I mean, we would chat, listen to music back and forth. Then we would talk about movies. We'd come up with some great ones. I would get a phone call from my sister, her yelling at me because at, age 15, I made her watch Porky's over and over and over again, or Conan the Barbarian over and over and over again. But she got back at me because it was Grease over and over and over again. Yeah. But anyway, we would come up with great ones. And, I would flirt my ass off with them. My Turkish Delight, man. Oh. And she and herself, man, she just oozes, and I say this in a great, great respectful way, fun, independence, power, respect. I mean, she hits everything that a man like me needs. Okay? So, but in honesty, I don't want any kind of relationship. I want friendships and conversations and the freedom to be able to speak what I want to speak. And I get that with her. She is my Turkish Delight. So, last night, I get a phone call. My sister is freaking out, okay, that my Turkish Delight is suffering from choking and coughing. She can't catch her breath, choking, feeling burning sensations, and she's having apparently a conversation with a elder member of my family. Okay, now we're going full out here. I'm either you believe it or not, I'm telling you as it is by fact and witnessed. Okay, she is feeling and communicating to my sister and my brother from another mother from a elder member of my family. So my sister is freaking out. My sister has a overpowering empathic ability. I have witnessed it grow. And there have been times where I have asked her to try and focus and learn from it. Because with a mental health illness of the depression and having medication, she's going through and realizing flashbacks of what she's experienced in the past. And I don't think she really understands it because it's making her ability to feel around her very powerful, but unfocused. So, during this phone conversation, we've got my Turkish Delight choking. My sister is trying to figure out what's going on. Okay. Now, during this phone conversation, I can feel the tension big time from my sister going big. Okay, explosive. I get a Facebook phone call from my cousin in Iowa, who is sitting at my grandmother's gravesite. She FaceTimes me. And I'm like, holy shit. So I tell my cousin, I need for you to hang up with me right now. And I would like for you to call my sister up, please, as soon as you possibly can. She was like, okay. She was questioning it. She didn't know because I didn't say anything. I hung up with her, got back on to my sister, and I was like, sis, you need to take this next phone call. Whatever you do, answer this phone call. My sister has issues with receiving phone calls with anxiety. She, a lot of times, will avoid him. So, I made sure that she promised me, I hung up. Then I get a phone call from my brother from another mother while this is all going down, and we're like, he's going like confused. He's trying to figure out what's going on. I am explaining to him what I had just received from my cousin, and I don't think he knew. Because I have a feeling my sister took the phone call in private because I was talking to him, and I think my Turkish delight was on the chair or something, getting drinks, trying to figure out her throat. So we're discussing music, and I was like, man, this is a great time for Slayer to get on. And he was like, no, I got 80s going on. I was like, yeah, and that's what brought all the spirits out, man. And he was like, yeah, okay. So it's like, my brother from another mother is my Samuel L. Jackson Jr. All right, we do a lot of movie quotes, and last night he had me stoked on Fargo, and it's just, but the visual is this guy is my size, if not a little bit bigger, and it's just great to have somebody out there who understands the way my brain is working. And he's a very responsible man, and I'm envious of his life and what he's built for himself. So I am very happy that he is in my sister's life. He is a positive uh, source for her. And I have a feeling it's mutual because my sister's pretty crazy. So she can turn a room upside down without even saying a word. But while I'm talking to him and we're going through different stuff, and I come to find out that my Turkish delight has never seen the movie The Exorcist. So I'm like totally flabbergasted. But in the same sense, she was dealing with a lot of issues deep inside as well. And it was hitting her hard last night. And I believe it's one of those deep guilts that she was feeling that just manifested time and time and time. What was affecting her was something very personal that happened years ago, and I'm not going to get into it. But it was very effective for her. So we sat and we talked a good bit about it, and letting her know that she had an outlet with me anytime. And I'm hoping that made her feel more comfortable because she was able to talk and get some things off of her chest. Then comes my sister. She's trying to call me while I'm talking to my Turkish delight. So we cut things short, get back in, and my sister is like totally freaked out. I mean, she was numb. So I did my best to acknowledge one thing that I don't think she even thought about. I wanted her to acknowledge to herself that all of those people that would snicker or cringe or walk away when my sister would say she felt something, okay? It made some people uncomfortable, okay? And that's why my sister kept her bubble tight, is because of that. It's protecting herself as well as others. But now she is justified because the fact that she felt a presence of an elder member of our family. To me, when my sister was telling me all this, I immediately thought of Grandma Armstrong coming to her to contact my father and get things resolved before something happens. Now, I don't know how I came up with it, or it just But the thing is when my cousin in Iowa called, that's when it happened. That's when it triggered for me. And the fact that my mind went straight to there, I wanted to make sure my sister at least got to see the tombstone. Because that's where she was sitting. My cousin was sitting there. And I had gotten to see the tombstone before. And my sister never did. There was never really full closure on anything between my grandmother and Jenna. They very seldom talk. Okay? And that's just the way things work. No one's blaming, no one's fault. But the fact that she came to her through her friend who was feeling weak because of all the guilt inside of her, basically was a conduit. My grandmother got through, and my sister has been trying to get a hold of my father, but he's stubborn about answering the phone. So, but to be able to, I was a part of something like that. Not only myself, but my cousin in Iowa spread the word out there of what was going on. And the fact that my sister and her family, I mean, her daughter, my niece, I love, she's brilliant, was in contact during the whole thing too. This was a big thing. Now, the paranormal aspect of all of this, as I have been describing, is common in a lot more situations than you realize. If you actually do the research on paranormal activities and the searching and the hunting, and you gather your own mind, you have to keep it open, okay? You can believe in Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the Yeti, okay, like I do. It's just a species that we haven't been able to document yet, okay? Or UFOs, unidentified flying objects. There's more of them out there than you realize. And if you think we're alone in the galaxy, you're an arrogant Republican. Sorry. Anyways, paranormal activity to me, after learning how I can distinguish my own visual to what my surroundings are, I can feel it. If I am uncomfortable with my feelings, then I know something's up. But if it's just my mind and I'm seeing things, then I know it's my mind. Okay? So, my sister is justified in her empathic abilities, and now she needs to learn to focus them. Because usually, if you're focused and you have the knowledge of your own history and you are honest with your own self, then your first instinct is usually the right one. You've got energy all around you, okay? And if you're able to pick up on it and focus, then things will open up. You will take more in. You will invite more in, because that knowledge, that ability to feel and understand is a drug in itself. Okay? There are a lot of people that can make other people happy with just by walking up to them, looking at them, and say, hey, you have a great day. Somebody is thinking about you. And just walk away. Okay? At first, they're going to have a freaky, what? Do what? And then they're going to actually think about it because you just walked away. You didn't want anything from them. You just walked away. And then you're all of a sudden, it's like, okay. And that's deep-seated now because you thought about it. And it spreads. Well, when you have that empathic ability to feel, you can use it for good, you can use it for bad. A lot of people become therapists and counselors because of it. So your experience in history and your ability to focus on the feelings you're feeling all around you, it's just, it can really enhance everybody else's life around you. Okay. So that story, it's all true. It is all now factual. It is all now recorded on my episode of being bipolar. Yeah, we crazy, right? We crazy, mofo. Yeah, okay. Listen, subscribe to me. Give me your money so I can make this thing keep going. If not, I'm going to have to go to Spotify. Really, really. Peace out, guys. Love you.